Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some developments on the Svatove line and further down in Bakhmut. Along the Svatove line, Kuzemivka is one of Russia's big strongholds in the region. There have been back and forth fights at Novoselivske, but Ukraine has repelled all the assaults and have pushed up to the borders of Kuzemivka. Ukraine wasn't able to take this city very easily in the beginning because Russia had control of this forest. There it is. Russia had control of this forest right up here. Ukraine had to fight through positions in the tree belts and finally work their way into this area, scoping out the stuff with drones and bombing Russian positions. They have completely taken over this forest now, and they're eliminating the mines in the region so they can begin to work towards an assault in this settlement. Once Kuzemivka is taken out, Ukraine will likely be able to push up to the Kobilka River. They'll be able to hit Volodymyrivka from two sides as well, so they'll likely be able to take over that region. And with the recent fall of the Kisilivka pocket, I think Ukraine is going to be able to establish firm positions over this river. Once they take out Kuzemivka, they'll begin to work on the settlement south of Krivoshivka, and with further control up to the Kobilka, they'll be able to do more assaults south of this. And once they're able to take over this settlement, the cities in between Svatove and the current front line are likely going to collapse. And before anyone starts thinking this is far-fetched, Kuzemivka is in the low ground of this region. You can see that there are hills right along here and Ukraine has good positions on top of them. And once the settlement falls, it won't be hard to push up to the Kobilka. Now, taking over Kolomichik, whatever, it's going to be a bit harder because it's split down the middle by a river, and there's multiple layers of defense inside of the city. It's another big stronghold for Russia, but once it does fall, the line is going to move back to Svatove. Then in the south, there's no real settlements blocking the area, and having positions up here by Nizhurne is going to make the line just completely move up to the ridge that Svatove is under. I think the Battle of Svatove and the whole Svatove campaign on its own has been very long, but I think it's nearing its end. Russia has been taking losses in situations where they're pretty much equal to the Ukrainians, and in some cases have the advantage. Poor leadership, equipment, and training, and lack of an overall goal on the Russian side make the Ukrainian troops have the advantage in battle. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Russia should not have lost these forests from a tactical perspective. But having this clear defeat in their book shows that the Ukrainian troops are better equipped, have better morale, and just everything all around. And this is just one example of many that I could find. Even after Ukraine takes Svatove, there's been no talk of Russia building defenses in Ukraine. That's not, whatever. Misky, Staroblisk, Bilovodsk, or any other city around this region. I think that could just be evidence that Russia is planning to fall back to the pre-2022 line, which looks roughly like this. This area isn't, don't trust over here. This would be a big blow to the Russians. The cities along this line are very well fortified, so I wouldn't expect any kind of movement or a breakthrough into Luhansk yet. And cities that have better fortifications need less men to maintain, and the whole line is just going to be smaller, so I think this could lead to just a final battle in the south in the Zaporizhzhia region. In my video I made yesterday talking about Russia's goals, Russia doesn't really need the North Luhansk Oblast, but taking it would just be a completely embarrassing defeat. And losing Severodonetsk would also be a very embarrassing defeat because they spent so much time and manpower trying to take that city and Lysychansk too. There's also been some rumors that Russia has taken over a city south of Bakhmut called Ozaryankiva. The only people saying that Russia has taken over this town are pro-Russian sources, and typically they've been like less than reliable. But even if Russia does take over this settlement, there is a canal and tree belt along the region that Ukraine can set up decent defense in. And even if they do attack into the fields and past that, they're basically moving into a big trench with hills along both sides, culminating in a settlement called Bilahora, which is at the culmination of two rivers, which Ukraine can use to just eat the assaults. I think even if Russia does take over this settlement, it's going to be hard for them to penetrate even further. They can't use this to take over custody. I'm not even going to try that one. Alright, that's what we got today.